Which high yield savings accounts do I use and why? What's up guys, Luke here with Luke's Points and Miles, and today we're going to try something completely different, and we're going to touch on the personal finance space and not completely on credit cards, points, miles, cashback, or travel. This is an experiment to see how much interest is in these kinds of topics. And I've also had some questions about high yield savings accounts recently. For some background, in recent years, interest rates were extremely low and there weren't very many accounts that earned any significant amount of interest. And in my opinion, the high yield savings account really went out of style. Fast forward to 2024, and we do have a few options out there that are earning what I would call a pretty good return on your savings for basically doing nothing. There is little to no risk in putting your hard-earned cash into one of these savings accounts, and while folks will argue that inflation can eat away at that cash, let's worry about the things we can control before we talk about how the sky is falling. Before we get started, let me explain how I use high-yield savings accounts. For me, these are not a vehicle to save for retirement, and I do not consider this investing. I use these accounts for specific purposes, and I'll explain what those are when I tell you which accounts I use. But I can make this really simple. I use savings accounts that accrue interest to put money away for a planned future expense. There are things I know I'm going to have to pay in 10 or 12 months, so I will either set that money aside in an account that can earn, and then when the time comes, I can easily withdraw that money to pay the expense. For that entire time though, that money is earning money. In short, we want to earn some cheddar without paying any fees or doing any work. So when I talk about my examples, these are going to be very small numbers, and a lot of folks will think it's majoring in the minors and not worth the time or brain power for such a small return. And I can understand that, but it's worth it for me. Let me just give you my examples. First off, you guys that watch the channel know that I'm a Capital One customer, and that doesn't stop with the Venture X credit card. I like Capital One's high yield savings account as well. I'm talking about the Capital One 360 Performance Savings. This account has no minimum deposit and it earns 4.25 APY. This account takes about 5 minutes to open online, and the app, at least in my opinion, is top notch. You can navigate through this account right next to all your Capital One credit cards. So what's the purpose of my Capital One 360 Performance Savings account? Well, this one is also pretty simple. For my YouTube business, I have separate accounts for the money that business generates. I take 25% of my gross earnings, and that is from all sources: YouTube AdSense, sponsorships, affiliate marketing, whatever. I take that money and I deposit 25% of that in this account. You can probably guess what that money's for. That's right, everyone's favorite, taxes. So all year long, I'm making deposits in this account, maybe 4 or 5 deposits a month, and all that money just sits and generates 4.25% APY. Is it a lot of money? No, but it's still money. I don't want to get too far in the weeds with this, but during tax time, my W-2 job does a great job of evening out how much I owe. What I mean is, I way overpay my taxes on my W-2 job, so when I have to come out of pocket, it's never really close to what I have in this account. What does that mean? Well, it means that this account is growing year over year, because even though I move 25% into the account, I'm not actually withdrawing all that money. It gives me a nice little cushion if I ever have a miscalculation with that tax man. Real quick guys, speaking of value, let's pause for just a moment to talk about Mumu. Did you know that many brokerage apps nowadays offer programs with APY, allowing users to not only earn interest on their uninvested cash balances, but also save time when transferring funds in between accounts? This convenience absolutely encourages better savings habits, and it maximizes the potential earnings on your uninvested cash holdings. And Mumu is the one that I want to bring to your attention. It is a silicone-born, one-stop trading app, right now offering some great benefits for the new users. When you open a new Mumu brokerage account and deposit just $100, Mumu will give you 5 free stocks. But hey, when you deposit $1,000, you get an extra 10 free stocks. That's not all. You can also enroll in Cash Sweep and for a limited time earn 8.1% APY. That's 5.1% base, plus for 3 months, an additional 3% booster. That's on your uninvested cash. Terms and conditions apply. There is a link in the description below. Click on it, start your investing journey today, and get some free stocks from Mumu. All right, guys, my next account is my PenFed Premium Online Savings. This account does earn a little less than Capital One at 3% APY. Not anywhere near as good as Capital One, so why, Luke? What's the purpose? The biggest reason is to solidify a relationship with PenFed Credit Union. I wanted a credit card with them, and I was turned down. And you know, when your Uncle Luke has a mission, that mission has to be completed at some point. So this is how I use this account. Those of you that own property know that you're taxed on that property. Most folks that I know pay their taxes and insurance and mortgage payment together in one payment. Your Uncle Luke says, no thank you. I pay my own insurance and my own taxes, but that means a big fat bill at the end of the year, right? Well, I have a modest home, so it's not all that big, but I don't pay it to the mortgage company and let them keep the money until the end of the year. I pay this high-ish yield savings account. Then at the end of the year, not only did I earn some shekels on that cash, but I use a credit card to pay the county on tax day, usually to meet a minimum spend bonus. But Luke, I'm sure the county charges you 1.75% to use a credit card. Yes, but I've already made 3% on that money, and I'm generating a credit card bonus at like 15%. So I'm winning, and I promise I did not work too hard. I just transferred some money into this account every month, or maybe most of it was put in there at the beginning of the year. My third example is my Amex high yield savings account. You guys know I've been an Amex fanboy at times, and I thought it would be a good idea to open one of these with Amex. This high yield savings account also earns 4.25% APY, and it's basically all tied into the same app that my credit cards are on, so it's pretty convenient. So what do I do with this one? Well, it's kind of funny because I almost consider this one having kind of no mission, and I'll explain. Remember when I said I take 25% of all my YouTube business income and put it into an account for taxes? Well, I also take 50% of that gross income and I put it in this Amex high yield savings account. Why? Well, I don't have any idea what I want to be when I grow up, and I don't know what to do with this YouTube money. See, if I don't put it in something, it will go to the watch store, and luxury watches might be the worst thing in the world I could ever purchase, especially since I'm just a regular guy. Most of you know that for me, YouTube is a side hustle, and while it can be lucrative at times, I live off my W-2 job. I'm still trying to decide a good purpose for my YouTube money. I'm not into cars, and my retirement money is pretty much all squared away, so I'll ask the audience, what's a good use of side hustle income? Right now, it's basically sitting there earning 4.25%, and I kind of consider it an emergency fund or rainy day fund, or I don't know. But if you were following along and doing the math in your head, 25% to a high yield savings account for taxes, 50% to an actual savings account, I still have that 25% to spend on travel and little things like that. Now, here's the deal, guys. In my opinion, all those things really just produce pennies. But those pennies do add up, and I think that having systems like this in place really do create good financial habits. And one thing that a lot of folks don't talk about is when you have systems like this in place, you're not sweating in April wondering what you're going to owe the IRS. And believe it or not, it hurts a lot less paying that tax bill when it's already sitting in that account. Okay, there are a lot of great high yield savings accounts out there, and I want to hear back from you guys. Which ones are you using? Do they have bonuses? And what are their purposes within your system? If you like these different personal finance videos, then please leave a like and a comment. I'd like to get into some more of these broad but still simple kind of videos because I think there are people out there that could really benefit from them. If I have any links for these accounts, I'll try to leave them in the description below. And if you have stayed around all the way to the end, I thank you and I appreciate every single one of you.